G'day legends, super stoked to be here sharing the latest update to STL Tones ToneHub. In this update, you're going to find a new feature, the Tracer. Now this is going to allow you to trace to create profiles of your guitar amps, of your pedals that can be loaded into ToneHub and opened at any time. And you can do the same with digital chains as well. So what we're going to do in this video is trace some tones from my EVH5150, and then we're going to compare the traces that I've made to the actual recorded guitar amp sounds and see if we can hear a difference. So we'll do some blind tests and see how we go. So this is the ToneHub plugin right here, and basically this allows you to plug your guitar directly in, pull some awesome tones. You can search through all the producer packs. There's an awesome core pack as well that has a lot of different sounds in here. And basically anything you need, you'll pretty much be able to find in here. Some nice clean tones, some really heavy tones, and everything in between. You can load stomp boxes, you can add an EQ, effects, pretty much everything you need to get a great guitar sound. So what we're going to focus on is this bit here, the tracer. When you click on this little menu pops up here. So lots of choices for tracing and capturing tones. So we're going to capture a couple of amp and cab tones today. And we're going to be running through my EVH5150 Mark III, and then that's running into an orange 2x12 closed back cab. So this is the first tone that we're going to be capturing. I'm using the blue channel on the EVH5150. It's kind of like a medium gain, not too fizzy, not too crazy, just a nice crunch, rocky kind of sound. Have a listen to the tone, and then we're going to capture this. So pretty cool, and we've double tracked that. So hopefully we'll end up with a tone like this. And just as a little side note, I put this track together just for this demonstration. Have a quick listen to the song, and this is what we're hopefully going to emulate with our tracers. So pretty sick, and we've got some clean tones as well. But basically what we're going to try and do is capture these exact sounds and replace them with the ToneHub Tracer and see how it sounds in the end. Okay, so get started, we need to click on this and hit proceed. Now the next thing we need to do is locate the tracer tone. This is what's going to profile the amp. So we hit locate and this is going to pop up, and then we're going to grab our tracer tone and drag it in. So now the next step is to run that tone through our signal chain. So I'm going to do some reamping. I'm going to send that signal out of the door into my EVH5150, and then we're going to record these sounds back in with the same mic setup that I had when I was dialing the tone in. And then we're going to take the sound that we're capturing, load it back into ToneHub, and it's going to create the trace for us. So here's our mic 1 and mic 2 as well as the DI, so I'm going to capture that on the way back in as well. So on our tracer tone, I need to change the output. Mono output 5. So that's going output 5 on my interface out to the amp. Now you just want to make sure that it's not clipping and hitting the amp too hard. So definitely check your levels and make sure that stuff's right. So I'm sending the guitar through one of the outputs of our interface, and that's coming out of the patch bay and then over into our reamp box. And we just have a radial reamp X amp, and then that's going into the DI, so I can capture the clean DI signal at the same time. And then that's going into our amp, running into our orange 2x12 closed back cab. We have an SM57 just off the center cone, and then we have an AKG C414 XLS just off the center as well, and that's about 2 centimeters back from the grill. So they're pretty much perfectly phase aligned, so we have no issues when they're coming in to the door. These are our channel settings, and let's get to it. Now we're going to run this trace tone through the amp. So that takes a few minutes, but once it's done, you end up with that sound recorded in through your amp. So if you're capturing 2 mics like I have here, we've got the SM57 and then the AKG. The way we blend these mics, we have to kind of commit to that and then export that, and then we're going to load that file into ToneHub, and that's going to create the trace for us. Let's save it as something we remember, so let's just call it EVH Blue. Okay, so I'm going to come over to one of these DI signals and let's load up ToneHub. Now we need to import the process audio file. And here we have our EVH Blue. Let's open that and then hit proceed. This can take a little while, so I'll see you guys on the other side. All right, it's done. Let's hit proceed. Settings, let's fill this out. And let's put this mic just off center, kind of like where we had it on the cab. And then we can put these settings up the top to where we had them on our amplifier. All right, let's hit match settings to trace. And let's hit proceed. Fill out some details. Okay, something like that. Okay, so here's our trace. That's so good. Like, sounds pretty darn close to me. We'll definitely do some blind tests later and see how we go picking these out. But in a mix, I would not be able to tell that that is not the mics on the amp, that that's actually just a profile. Like, that's awesome. So now let's compare it double tracked and see how it sounds. That's so good. You can't deny that that does not sound pretty much identical. That's awesome. All right, so now the fun starts. I've made tracers of the clean tone, of a lead tone using the high gain channel, and then we've also got our blue channel, which was that kind of medium heavy rhythm guitar sound. So I've set all of this up. So we've got a complete guitar mix with just our trace tones, and then we also have a complete mix with our amp tones. And I've cut this up, so it's going to play back and we're going to hear it change between these two tones seamlessly. And let's see if we can hear much of a difference as it changes between them. That sounds so good. I mean, I couldn't hear a difference when they were playing back. Like, I could have closed my eyes and I wouldn't have known that that was changing between two lots of guitars. That's awesome. That has done such a great job of capturing that sound. Let's listen to the guitars only in solo. Let's see if we can hear much of a difference then. No drums, no bass to hide behind. Okay, so I can hear the smallest difference in the guitar amp sound. Like, there's just this little bit of extra low end. It just sounds slightly deeper, and that's a pretty small difference. These don't have any EQ or anything on them. There's no high pass filtering or anything like that. To me, it sounds like the ToneHub is already a little bit like cleaned up, a little bit more refined with a tighter low end, whereas it sounds like that kind of extra bit of rumble that I'm hearing in the guitar amp, that might get cleaned up when we start EQing and we start putting like a high pass filter on it. That's probably going to get tightened up a little bit. But overall, in the scheme of the mix, I couldn't hear that difference. I didn't make enough of a difference to be like, oh, that tone sounds completely different. When we listen to it out of context, there's a small difference there, but we're going to do some blind tests on this anyway. So that'll be fun to see if, when we don't know what we're looking at, we can actually pick out what's what. Okay, so before we do our blind test, I want to quickly show you something. Okay, so this is where things get pretty cool. Even though we've captured like a profile of the amp and a particular sound, we can actually come in and change this and tweak it. So you can see here, I can play with the gain and I can gain this up harder if I want. How goes that? And that sounds pretty much what it sounds like when you start cranking the blue channel with the gain. Now, we can also play with the EQ. That's awesome. You can easily play with it and change the tone up there. You come down here, play with the mic placement. Just so many ways that you can go and tweak and change the tone. It doesn't have to be a locked in one sound. It actually captures the character of the overall amplifier, and then you can go and play with it a bit more and change your tone up later. That's sick. And down the bottom here, if you go to stomps, you can trace guitar pedals as well. So I could trace my Tube Screamer 808 and I could load it up in here, which I'm definitely going to try. Could get a whole bunch of my overdrive pedals in here. That'd be awesome. So this is where things get really cool. Say if you don't have any hardware amps to trace or pedals to trace, you can actually jump onto the Trace Exchange and download traces that people have uploaded, so then you can try out their signal chains. You can use their amps that they captured in their studios, their pedals that they captured, and you can play with them in your studio. That's awesome. There's a whole lot more than just being able to trace your amps at home. It actually gives you the option to try tones that other users create, and just a whole network of sharing and creativity. It's so cool. All right, so now let's do these blind tests. So to start with, we're going to do in context of the mix and see if I can pick which is which. I'm going to mix it up here, so I'm just going to hit this mute button on both channels. I'm not looking, I don't know which one it's going to land on, and then we're going to listen back and I'll switch between them and try and guess which is which. I think that this is our amp tones. Oh man. All right, let's go for round 2. Mixing it up, not looking. That is ToneHub. Well, I don't know if we should bother going for the third round because they've already won, but let's see. That's ToneHub. Yeah, boy, you got one. All right. Blind tests are always so fun. See, that's so hard. I really struggled to try and pick that, as you saw. Now, I probably even just got lucky on that last one. Let's do just the guitars on their own, see if I can pick that. I'm not looking. That is our amps. Yeah, you got one. All right, let's go again. That's our amps. You get really confident. You just think, yeah, I got it now. Nah. All right. Best of 3. Here we go. Last one. That's the amp. Yeah. All right. So I win that round. I think I just got lucky. Okay, let's compare the clean tones. Let's see if we can pick it out of our cleans. I don't know. I think that's ToneHub. Oh, he got it. All right, yes. Okay, let's go again. Mixing it up. That's our guitar amp. Oh, he got it. How good's that? All right, one more. Best of 3. Close my eyes, mixing them up. That is ToneHub. Ah! Okay. Man, I was really confident just then. I was like, that's ToneHub. Nah. All right. So it's very hard to pick these out. They both sound great. To be honest, I don't know if there is really a big difference in there. Obviously, I couldn't get it 3 times in a row. One last blind test. I'm going to switch between our distorted rhythm guitars, and then whatever it lands on, I'm just going to guess which one it is, see if I can pick it without switching between the sounds. All right, wish me luck. ToneHub. Oh, he's got it! Yes! All right, I might have to do it one more time, just make sure it wasn't a fluke. Or have I cracked the code? That's our guitar amp. I should have stopped while I was ahead. Oh dear. You think you know what's going on, and then you go for that one more blind test, and then you completely undermine everything that you've just done. That's great. So obviously, I can't pick it apart that well. I think the sounds are really good, and the blind test just shows that you can't get it every time, so obviously it's not that big of a difference. Overall, it sounds great, and it sounds just like what we achieved with the guitar amp. So it's really cool to be able to have those tones now within ToneHub, so that I can come back to this session in like a couple of months' time, and I can be like, oh, I want to add some more guitars, I want to add another section. I don't have to scrap all my parts now because I've got to go set the guitar amp up again and re-record everything so it sounds the same. I just have to have the same guitar, plug it in, put it to the same gain, make sure the DI is matched, and then I'll be laughing. I'll just plug it in and just keep going from where I left off. That's such an awesome thing to be able to do. And I think that's like one of the biggest benefits of recording with DI and guitars like that. So overall, I'm super impressed with this, and I think it's a great addition to ToneHub and for its users as well. And the trace exchange too is just so awesome. It's like unlimited sounds. You can just keep searching and finding gold that other people are uploading. So for all the ToneHub users, make sure you check out that update. The tracer is here and it is awesome. And if you thought that was really cool and you haven't checked out ToneHub yet, there'll be a link in the description below. Make sure you go give it a try, check it out, because it is really cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support this channel, check out the link in the description below. I'm going to have a link to my website. You can check out my range of drum samples and mix courses. Grabbing any of those is a massive support to this channel. If you thought the ToneHub Tracer was cool, then check out this next video where we're going to take a look at the Control Hub Tracer that lets you trace outboard gear. So you can trace compressors, EQs, all that stuff, complete signal chains, and use them in your mixing.